Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Value of the Phoenix podcast. My name is Patrice and we are talking all things manifestation, affirmations and becoming the best version of yourself thus far. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure to keep on listening. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about one of Neville Goddard's most powerful teachings, and it is all to do with your mental diet. So mental diet is more than just thinking positive thoughts. It's a disciplined way of managing your inner world in order to create change in your outer world. So what exactly is mental diet? So as we know, your thoughts create your reality. And in Neville's teachings, he basically just says that whatever you assume and you persist in that thinking is what will be created in your outer world. However, when it comes to mental diet, it's all about consciously choosing thoughts and assumptions that align with what you actually want in your life. So it's basically just all about making sure that you are thinking the thoughts that will help you to have the life that you actually want. So just like a physical diet will help you when it comes to, getting healthier, losing weight, being in control of what's going into your body, mental diet is essentially the same thing, but it's more so about being in control and being aware of what you put into your body in terms of your mind. So if you are constantly consuming, negative, self-defeating things into your mind, that is what is going to show in your life. Whereas on the other hand, if you nurture, thoughts that align with what you actually want in your life, that is what will manifest into your life. Your world will shift to mirror those beliefs. So in Neville's own words, he says, man moves in a world that is nothing more or less than his consciousness objectified. So that basically means that whatever is going on in your inner world will be reflected out to you in your outer world. So essentially everything around you is a reflection of what is actually going on up here. And mental diet is all about gaining control of that inner state. So let's talk about the power of assumptions. So whatever you assume to be true, whether it's about yourself, other people, or just about the world, whatever you assume or believe to be true will eventually show in your experience. It will become true in your experience. And this is why mental diet is so important, because your thoughts create your reality. Therefore, whatever you are assuming and believing to be true in your mind will reflect out into your world. It's all to do with your consistent thoughts. And essentially that just means your dominant thoughts. And these dominant thoughts can be good, bad, anything in between. It doesn't matter. It's all about whether they are dominant, if you are dominantly and consistently thinking those thoughts. So for example, if you constantly assume that you're unlucky, that bad things just always seem to happen to you, that nothing ever works out in your favor, that is exactly what you are going to see in your life. And the thing is, when it comes to your dominant thoughts, even if those things aren't necessarily true, because of the way that your subconscious brain works, you will actively seek out evidence in your day-to-day life to prove to you that all of those thoughts are true. So if we flip this on its head and start assuming that, you're successful, you're capable, you are able to achieve your goals, your reality will eventually shift to reflect to you those new dominant assumptions. And this is one of the reasons why the law of assumption and learning about self-concept and the way that your subconscious mind works really changed my life, because it made me realize that I have the power to change my life. Once I make a decision that I want to change, then I can change. And I think that is one of the most empowering things that I've ever learned in life. And sometimes it can be really difficult to realize your own power, but this is what it is talking about in relation to the law of assumption. You can change your reality. You just have to sort out your mental diet. You have to sort out the things that you are thinking, and you also need to make sure that your actions and your decisions in your life are aligned with these new thoughts and feelings that you have about yourself. So with mental diet, it basically requires you to just be that little bit more aware of what it is that you are thinking. So are you thinking thoughts in relation to abundance, or are you thinking thoughts that have a lot to do with lack, for example? These are the ways that you can kind of figure out what is actually going on up here, what is actually being reflected out in your world from your subconscious mind. And ultimately, once you change your assumptions, you change your life. So rather than sitting there thinking about failure, if you start thinking about success, that is what will eventually reflect in your life. But you have to be consistent with it. You have to keep going. You have to allow yourself the opportunity to allow change to come into your life. You can't just expect overnight results. When you have had negative thinking about, certain parts of you, certain things about yourself, when you've had those negative thoughts for so long, it can be really hard to now start challenging those thoughts, because ultimately those were beliefs that you had about yourself. And now that you are changing those beliefs, it is going to take courage. It may possibly take time. I'm not saying that all of the time that it's going to take time, but it may take time. And it's something that you are going to have to put effort in. You are going to have to be consistent with it. And a lot of people tend to shy away from self-concept in that sense, because they don't want to make the changes because it's hard. But I realized that the thoughts that I was thinking, the negative thoughts that I was thinking about myself, they weren't helping me in my life. They weren't guiding me in the right direction. And so I decided that I would rather take the hard road in learning to reprogram my subconscious mind and learning to believe in myself. I would rather take that hard road than take the hard road where I'm constantly just not feeling like I'm good enough or not thinking that I can achieve my goals. I would rather be in that more positive state. And I saw a video the other day, and it basically said that when it comes to faith and when it comes to fear, the two things are you believing in something that you can't actually see. Because really, you can't actually see your fears, and also you can't actually see your faith. So which one would you rather just have that little bit more hope in? And for me, I decided that I would rather have faith than to allow fears that I can't see to dictate my life. I would rather have faith in things that I can't see. I would rather have faith in the unseen of that than have faith in the unseen of my fears. I would rather trust in myself and believe that things are going to get better and give myself that little bit of hope than sit there in that negative state and feel as though things are never going to get better. Because ultimately, that is actually not even true. And when you see videos, for example, of people who have been through hardships in their life and have come out the other side, one of the main things that they always say is that things will get better. I promise you, things will get better. And so I'd rather have faith in that than sit there in that fear mindset. Okay, so now let's talk about how you can recognize when you are off track. And so with your mental diet, it is your job to catch yourself when you notice that you are having those negative thought patterns. And the thing that is so interesting is that these negative thought patterns can come in so many forms that sometimes I think people don't actually realize it. So negative thought patterns can come in the form of self-criticism, worry, doubt, self-deprecation. There's so many different ways that it can show up in your life without you even realizing it. It's actually very crazy, because a lot of the time people think negative thought patterns, they just always think, oh, it's I don't like myself, or I don't think I'm good enough, or I don't think that I can achieve this. But a lot of the time it's that worry, it's that doubt, it's that almost like lurking. It's like a dark cloud lurking over your back. And it can be really difficult at times to pinpoint when you are having those negative thought patterns, especially when you are so used to having those negative thought patterns. If you feel like, well, this is how I've always been, that is the problem. Because if you just go through life just thinking, well, this is how it's always been, that is a sign that you don't actually want to change. So you have to decide, even though this is how I've always thought about myself, I am now ready to make the change. I am now ready to be that little bit more aware of the thoughts, of the things that I am putting into my mind. And that is mental diet. And the thing is, just like with anything in life, your mental diet will get easier with practice. You'll start to pick up on things a lot more. And as someone that is like 3-4 years in on my self-concept journey, I can honestly say that now, when I start to have those negative thought patterns, or I notice myself kind of, spiraling, I am really able to pick up on it very quickly and identify the emotions that I'm feeling because I've put in the work. I have practiced. I have realized, oh, okay, you're thinking that you can't do it. You're thinking that you're not good enough. Why are you thinking that right now? And that's another thing. Always ask yourself why. When you ask yourself why, it allows you to just dig that little bit deeper into the emotions that you are feeling. It allows you to kind of get to like the core of what it is that you're thinking. So let's say, for example, I had a day where, I'm not feeling good enough, or let's say I did something wrong at work, for example. So what I like to do in situations when I ask myself why is to almost talk to myself like how I would talk to like my nephews, my little nephews, or how I would talk to like a friend or someone that's like younger than me that doesn't really have like major like life experience basically. And I would just explain to myself, okay, I understand why you feel like, you're not good enough, or that you've made this mistake at work and now you feel like you're not good enough. However, firstly, you got the job in the first place. That shows that you're good enough. Secondly, regardless of whether you make a mistake at work or not, you are good enough because your job doesn't define who you are. And thirdly, I would also remind myself that everyone makes mistakes. We're human, so sometimes it's just about literally coming down to a level where it's almost like you're talking to a child. And this is why I always say one of the greatest ways that you can show yourself compassion is to literally talk to yourself like how you would talk to younger you, or how you would talk to your own child. It really can change the way that you navigate certain situations, because when it comes to like your child, for example, you obviously want the best for your child and you want them to learn things that you have, kind of learned in life. You want to give them those teachings, you want to give them that little bit of wisdom. And sometimes we need to give that to ourselves. It's so easy to give other people all of this amazing advice and, you're that friend that people can always turn to. Be that friend for yourself. Know that you can always turn to yourself. Know that you can always show yourself that compassion, and that you're not going to be judgmental with yourself, and that you will allow yourself to feel and express your emotions. I think that is one of the greatest ways for you to learn to love yourself. When you just show yourself that compassion and when you show yourself that grace, trust me, you will appreciate it. So yeah, I want you to be aware of the internal conversations that you are having with yourself, because essentially that is what it is. When you are thinking thoughts in your mind, you are basically having an internal conversation with yourself. So if you start noticing that, you're thinking to yourself, I don't think I'm really able to do this, I want you to pick up on that, and I want you to reject those thoughts. You don't have to accept the thoughts that are in your brain, that are in your subconscious mind. You actually don't have to accept it. And when I first started out on my self-concept journey, one of the things that I done so much when I noticed any kind of like negative thought pattern, I learned this from Subconscious Laws. She always used to say, as soon as that negative thought pattern comes into your mind, you need to think the complete opposite. So rather than sitting there thinking, I don't think I'm able to do this, I don't think I can achieve this, you need to swap that with, no, I can achieve this, I can achieve this. So rather than allowing that negative thought pattern to fester, you're literally knocking it away with this new thought. And that new thought is literally a positive affirmation. So that is basically how you counter negative thought patterns. You have to replace it with positive ones. You can't just say, well, I'm just not going to think anything negative. I'm here to tell you that's not how your mind works, okay? What you can do, however, is replace that negative thought pattern with a positive one. So think of the negative thoughts that you think as junk food, for example. And so every time that negative thought comes into your mind, junk is now also going into your mind. If you want to live a healthy, fulfilled life, you have to get rid of the junk food and you have to replace it with the better food, with the healthier food, with the positive thought patterns. So essentially what you need to do is feed your mind nourishing thoughts. That is the best way that I can describe it. Okay, so now that we understand the basics of mental diet, now we're going to look at the ways that you can implement a better mental diet into your day-to-day life with these little tips and tricks that I'm going to give you. So number one is that you need to become an observer. So the first step is that you basically need to just become aware of your thoughts. And once you are aware of the negative thoughts that you have, it's really good to just ask yourself, okay, is this thought benefiting me right now? Because a lot of the time they are not. So ask yourself questions. Question why you are thinking the thoughts that you are thinking. And I don't want you to become overwhelmed with this, but as I said before, practice makes perfect. You'll be able to navigate, those negative, spiraling moments that you have. You'll be able to navigate them a lot better when you're just that bit more aware of what is actually going on. Okay, the next tip is to start reframing your negative thoughts. So like I mentioned before, if you notice that you are thinking negative thoughts, reframe it. Replace it with a positive affirmation. So like I said, if you're feeling like I'm not good enough, I can't do this, replace it with no, I can do this. I am more than good enough. That is what you need to do. And guys, this isn't about just ignoring reality or anything like that. It's just about making sure that your thoughts are aligned with what it is that you actually want. There's no point in constantly thinking about things that you don't want. That actually doesn't make sense. So it's more so just about making sure that your thoughts are aligned with the things that you genuinely do want out of life, the outcomes that you actually want out of life, basically. The next thing is to persist in your new assumptions. Persist, persist, persist. Neville really emphasizes this, and I think that persistence and consistency is so important on a self-concept journey. You need to be dedicated to this new self. You need to be dedicated to these new thoughts that you now want to put into your mind. You kind of need to be dedicated to your mental diet. And one of the ways that you can do this is obviously through affirmations, through visualization, through journaling. There's so many ways that you can do this through, the day-to-day actions and choices that you make as well. These are ways that you can show that you are persisting in this new image, this new version of you. You need to be persistent with it. You can't just, decide that you're going to do it for a week and then you don't come back to it for 3 years or something like that. I'm not saying that, it's going to be easy, and there are going to be times when 100% there are going to be times where you slip up. But that doesn't mean that just because you slipped up that you stay down. Self-concept is all about getting back up, starting again, trying again, persisting until you have what it is that you actually want. Because there's no point in you saying that you want all of these things, but then your actions and your thoughts and everything like that are not showing that you actually want these things. If you genuinely really want it, you will make the effort, you will be persistent, trust me. And another thing that I need you to be is patient. And, there are some manifestation coaches out there who say, you can manifest this in 24 hours and you could do this and you can do that. And I'm not saying that you can't do it, but I'm just saying that in your self-concept journey, one of the best skills, traits that you can have is to learn how to be patient. And that doesn't mean that you're in this waiting energy, but it's more so about being patient, but having the faith to know that what it is actually yours already. You just need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do in order for it to come to you. So that's more so what it's about. It's not about sitting patiently, waiting and being in limbo land. That's not what I want for you guys. I want you to learn patience, but also know that what it is that you want is yours. You just have to decide that it's yours and then allow it to come into your life in whatever weird, wonderful, magical way that it will come into your life. So if you're someone that, needs like real life examples to kind of help you feel as though this can happen for you, I would really recommend that you buy Neville Goddard's books, because he has a lot of examples of amazing things that have happened for people in there who followed his teachings. And also you can use me as an example as well. So since I learnt about the law of assumption, since I learnt about self-concept, and also since I learnt about mental diet, my life has really changed. So I was able to buy my flat that I'm living in right now, which is amazing. I was able to get a better job, a higher paying job, which I am working now. I started a YouTube channel, which I am absolutely loving and feel so blessed to be able to, give people advice and create affirmations that I feel like, have really changed people's lives. That was one of my goals. It's been one of my goals since I was younger, and it has now, come to fruition. When I get you guys comments and stuff on videos and like some of my affirmation videos saying like, oh, I listened to this affirmations audio and I got my SP back, or I got that job that I went for, or just knowing that like your life has changed for the better, that just makes me know that I've done my job basically. So my manifestation in terms of helping people has definitely come to fruition. And so you can use me as a real life example. I've been able to make more money, I've got a better car, like there's so many other things as well. Like I genuinely feel really fulfilled in my life right now. And for a long time, I kind of felt like I was just like chasing things and like, trying so hard to get these things into my life. And ultimately, when you do chase things, when you are obsessed, when you put things on a pedestal, it can make those things run away from you. Now, I can honestly say that I have peace of mind, and I know now that going forward, if, anything major, anything sad, anything negative was to happen in my life, even though I would have to obviously deal with those emotions, I feel like I'm much more equipped to handle it in a much better way than I would have maybe like 5-6 years ago. And that is down to working on my self-concept and learning about myself. Sometimes it can be really easy to focus so much on the things that you don't have. And I have just reached a point now where I'm just trying to focus more on the things that I do have and focus more on the things that I actually want out of life, rather than focusing on, bad outcomes or negative outcomes, and more focused on the things that I actually want. So yeah, I guess I am a testimony to the law of assumption and its teachings, I guess. So yes, guys, I want you to start paying that little bit more attention to your thoughts. Focus on your mental diet, treat it like a physical diet. Do the things that you need to do in order to better yourself, because I guarantee you will not regret it. And I know I was saying before that, it can be quite hard and this, that, and the other. The way that you will feel once you start doing this, you will realize, you'll literally think, why did I not start doing this sooner? Why did I not work on self-concept sooner? Why didn't I start, thinking these better thoughts sooner? Trust me. So yeah, start focusing on the things that you want as opposed to the things that you don't want, and start affirming to yourself. Start believing in yourself. Start committing yourself to this better version of you. And I guarantee you will start to see little glimpses of it here and there, and then it will come to fruition for you. So yeah, commit yourself to this new mindset. Commit yourself to your mental diet. Focus on the positives. Focus on empowering yourself. Focus on persisting and being consistent in this new version of you. That is what you need to do. But anyways, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope that it's been insightful for you. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Or if you just have anything that you want to say, you can leave a comment down below as well. But yes, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.